Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson.
And boy, and we're back again. Look, I hope you enjoyed the last show.
Can't stay away.
Woo! We enjoyed the last show, and more to come as we wade through the economic development in Northwest Florida. You know,
yes.
that
or lack thereof.
you got to start out with baby steps.
Yeah.
You know, so we finally got the right answer on team, and now we're going to discuss Florida's Great Northwest, which covers a 16-county area, right? Big area.
It's a big area.
I'm figuring, the next thing that I go for is let's get Enterprise Florida straight. Maybe I need to ask them a few questions.
Well, again, just briefly, my overweening question on all that is, where the heck are the jobs that all these millions of dollars are?
Well,
contributing
look,
towards?
and we're not going to have an Obama discussion, but let's look at the trillions of dollars that have flown into our economy under the guise of jobs and economic development.
I didn't go for that. I didn't
Unemployment continues to go down.
I agree with you.
I mean, it continues to go up.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's
a redistribution of wealth from the middle class up to the very wealthiest sector of society.
It just,
what's happening.
the underlining thing, and the thing that allows me that when I lay my head on my pillow at night to be satisfied that I'm doing the right things for the citizens of our community, is that, and I was kind of quoted in the paper as it is very important to me that all taxpayer money is transparent and accountable. That is the underlying thing here. This is the whole purpose of living, that we should be accountable.
And that's above and beyond the issues of ridiculous wastage like we had with the Pullum property purchase. That's another issue entirely.
Well, if organizations were fully transparent, I will tell you this right now, and the people that are watching this show know this for a fact. Had Team Santa Rosa played by the law in the very beginning, all the way back to 2002 when they changed their organization and their meetings open to the public, we would have never purchased the Pullum property, because the first time they mentioned it at a public meeting, the word would have got out, and just like we see a lot of people in Escambia County and people across this nation, for a matter of fact, government talks about it openly. They form a tea party, they form the mob with the burning pitchforks, and they go down there and say, don't even try that. And that's what would have happened there had they have been opened.
I'm not sure it would have. There was some warning. There was a good bit of warning. Nobody showed up. Few people showed up at those meetings where they were discussing it. And even though they did have several people besides you object to it, they voted it in anyway.
Yeah.
It happened anyway.
From the inception all the way back, can you imagine?
There would have been more warning.
Can you imagine if Jerry would have been sitting in the room when they attempted to elect Bill Pullum, the chairman of the Land Acquisition Committee? I'd still be hollering about that right now.
It would have been a great show.
There's no way, no how it should one of the largest landowners in Santa Rosa County be put on the Land Acquisition Committee.
For Team Santa Rosa.
For Team Santa Rosa.
Of course it's ridiculous.
There's just so many steps along the way there that had they been in the public purview,
of course.
if the public would have had a seat at the table, as prescribed by law, those things would have never happened. But in closed-door sessions, smoke-filled rooms with only a handful of people in there, as they used to operate, they could get away with whatever they wanted to.
Yeah.
And for the most part, they're not dumb. They did a good job on public perception too.
Right.
They were able to meal, and when it get a little too hot, they'd back off and wait a few months.
Well, they've had some newspaper help with public perception in the last 5 or 6 years. We won't get into that today.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was counting up news stories today. I try to keep the clippings of all the news stories. And when you look at Team Santa Rosa, the Pullum deal, Gordon Gooden's trip, Cindy Anderson's job, whether she was going to Escambia County or not, there was 75 stories generated in the local media. And then on top of that, there's another 7 or 8 blogs by newspapers, not just blogs, but by newspaper blogs where, you know, their publisher or whatever had a blog. There's another 7 or 8 on those that were pretty critical of what was going on. And most of the 75 stories did not paint government in a good picture.
None of that happened until there was a significant public agitation, though, on your part. That was what sparked the whole thing off.
Well, you know, gadfly.
Gadfly.
You know, I had to, of course, once again, I barely graduated high school, so I had to get some help looking that up in the dictionary. But that apparently that's actually a compliment.
Now, speaking of smoke-filled back rooms, apparently the city of Pensacola will be getting a new boss mayor.
Yeah, we you know, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about it before. You know, the long battle, the current system for the city of Pensacola was city council members, 2-year terms. The one thing that I thought was crazy from day one, though, was that all of them run for election at the same year. So you have a new bunch every 2 years.
Right, yeah, that was a bad idea. They've staggered them now.
The mayor, under the old system, the mayor, he had a, you know, kind of a whipping box, you know, a bully pulpit to say,
right.
but the city council pretty much. So the big talk comes up and, well, we want a strong mayor. You know, other places have strong mayors, and so we've kind of watched. And Deborah lay out to the folks. They had some commission or something that came together to study all of this.
They had a charter review commission that was appointed by the city council, who went through, and there was some question as to. They say they did a lot of work. There were some questions that were raised as to whether they fulfilled the assignment. The academic, and we showed a clip of him, Dr. Bill Haraway, who was originally assigned to be their advisor, quit in disgust. Apparently, it was a strong mayor from the beginning. I mean, I don't think there's any question of that. That was they sat down and said we're gonna create a strong mayor.
The original, I guess, guidance from the city council was go find out what form of government the people want.
Well, no. The original guidance was analyze what exists, look and figure out what the strengths and weaknesses are in what exists. Right. And we don't know whether or not that happened because there was supposed to be a final report. Normally, with something like this, you get a report that didn't happen. The final report was the new charter that they.
Yeah, the final report was we have decided that a strong mayor source of government is the way to go.
Yes. And major differences, you know, you talked about the term limits, and that's going to be popular. They're going to have the same number of council members. It's going to be the same as it is now, which is actually very large.
You know, that was the thing that kind of surprised me is in Santa Rosa County and in Escambia County, there are each 5 commissioners that oversee. In Santa Rosa County, $120-something million, $140 million budget. In Escambia County, well over $300 million for the county.
Right.
Huge geographical area, and they only have 5 representatives on for county commissioners. And here's the city of Pensacola. They have a lawyer and a PIO and 10 council members and a mayor and geographically it's pretty
9. They'll have 9.
It's a pretty small area to have that many council people. You know?